everybody, it's Lucy here and I hope everybody is doing really well as per usual. Today I thought it would be super fun for us to read along together and have a nice little chilled reading vlog. So I thought we would do that this week, add a bit more like reading content to this channel. And I've decided the book that we are going to read this week is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So it's a good classic and I know lots of you guys have already read it. So if you have, I would love you to share your opinions with me and drop it down below. I've picked this up the other week in Waterstones and it was in my last video in my haul. And yeah, I cannot wait to get into this. Share a synopsis with you guys if any of yous are curious and want to read it. Yeah, I'll share a synopsis. So working as an intern for a New York fashion magazine in the summer of 1953, Esther Greenwood is on the brink of her future, yet she is also on the edge of darkness that makes her world increasingly unreal. Esther's vision of the world shimmers and shifts day to day. Living in the sultry city, her career's men friends, the hot dinner dancers. So yeah, I cannot wait to get into this. It sounds right up my street, as I said in my haul video. Yeah, I just finished The Scenes of Graphic Nature by Caroline O'Donoghue, and let me say that, you know, I hope this book is like really good because this book is probably one of my favourites that I have read this year so far. Like, it was like incredible. If you like a book that like it's makes your stomach's like churn inside out because you just get like scared of what's happening in the main character, this book is for you. So I just finished this yesterday, so now we're gonna go on to this. But yeah, also in this video I'm going to be sharing like my top reading tips, because every time I ask people for questions, people want to know like how I balance reading and how I've made it into like a hobby, if you like, alongside my demanding, grueling studies as a master's student. So I mainly read like towards the afternoon on the night because I can't do work past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I don't know why, it's always been the same. I think it's just, you know, regimented from, you know, school days where you'll be working 9 till 3. Yeah, and today is also hair wash day, so I thought I would show you like my nighttime routine and like how some self-care things. My hair is looking very brassy. I only had it done the other week, but I'm getting it done again because my roots have come through quicker, because it does like after like lockdown, so hair does grow quicker now, so I'm going to get it done again. I wasn't happy with it this time because it was very brassy and I like to be icy. But yeah, I'll be showing you how I like look after my hair and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm going to get my little reading spot ready. It is absolutely chucking it down today, so I'm going to get my reading spot ready and we're going to dig into The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Just spent a while actually reading The Bell Jar and I'm 80 pages in now, and you know what, I feel like I say this about every book that I read and we're doing like reading vlogs and stuff, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it aware like it is a good, like I'm getting into it and it's good, like the storyline seems to be interesting so far. I will say is that it was wrote in the 1950s and I believe it was published in the 60s, so obviously societal contexts are very different, and one of the things I will say, there is some racism. Reading it, like, it did make me feel a bit, oh, like that's something that I would never ever say or never ever think. Obviously, like today we wouldn't necessarily say that, but back then they did. Like, that was as common as them saying like, you know, have an iced latte with oat milk and caramel syrup, please. Like, it's, you know, that was, but just be aware of that. It's now approaching tea time. I've just fallen off the cushion. It's now approaching tea time, so
yeah, I'll probably do that. Thing is with reading though, it makes me really sleepy, and I have been awake since 6 o'clock this morning. I got up early with the purpose of doing work, because I can't work in the afternoons, as I said like earlier on in the video. Like, I can't work in the afternoons. Plus, I am trying to get all my assignments done early, especially like the groundwork for them, because my boyfriend's coming on the 16th, so a week today, because you guys will be watching this on Sunday. So I've decided, like, I want to get it all done just so I can enjoy, like, he's coming for 10 days, or is it 11 days, I think? Yeah, so I just wanted to enjoy that instead of thinking, oh my god, I've got an assignment to do, obviously. Luckily, I've managed to do most of the research, and the topics that I'm doing it on were covered earlier on in the semester, because they're kind of like similar to what I'm doing for my big dissertation. So I have like 3 assignments to do. I've done 2 of them completely. I've just got one big one to go, but I need to do like primary research for that. I'm waiting for people to like respond to like my questionnaires and stuff, so I can do the results, but that shouldn't take too long. But yeah, that's like uni work wise. But obviously I'm super excited to see my boyfriend. As I said, I've not seen him for 6.5 months and I miss him a lot. So next week there will be a video, but this is just a warning. There might not be one for a couple of weeks, just because I don't know if I'll be able to film with him there, because he does like to torture me. That's something in a horrible way, but like, I'm just, you know, shy. Like, but yeah, I've enjoyed my little session in this little reading corner. I think I'm gonna go make something to eat now. I'm making homemade pizzas because I have been too busy, like, and too lazy to be honest, because it's raining outside, and that I have not had time to go to the shop basically, or so I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow. Also, as I keep saying, like, yeah, the bell jar, if anybody has read this, I always love to know your opinions, so please let me know you have thought about it if you have read it. Obviously, as I said, like, it's different times, different societal times, but you know.
Okay, so I've had my tea, and now I'm going to do a hair mask and let that sit while I just chill for a bit. And I thought I would show you how I put a hair mask on, if you're interested. So I use Olaplex #3 because my hair's been bleached more times than I've had up dinners. So it needs like a really good mask, and this has literally been like a saviour. Washing my hair as regularly and using this is really helped. So yeah, I thought I'd show you guys how I put it on. There's probably like an easier way to do this, but like, I'm just literally going to take my shower head and just dampen my hair. And yeah, as you can see, she's crazy. Alright, my hair's naturally curly, so it just goes like this. And I'm going to put on the Olaplex. You don't need much, and that's why like, you get quite a bit out of this. So I'm just going to pop on about that much, and then run it through my hair. So it's starting at the top, down to the bottom, because that's what it tells you to do. And then at the end I just brush it through to make sure it's all evenly spread out. And then I tie it up, because I read that's better, like, to help your like mask like settle in. So I just tie it up with a bobble that I was using. I don't use my scrunchie because that would damage it, but I just tie it up with like a normal bobble, and then yeah, kind of leave it. You can leave it on for like bare minimum 10 minutes, but I always leave it on for a bit longer. Like, that's why I put it on like straight after I've had my dinner, and then I'll wash my hair later on, and then it's just working its magic while I'm having a cup of tea. Okay, so now I'm gonna just finish watching Flossie's YouTube video. She's doing a haul. I'm gonna, after finishing that YouTube video, I am going to do some more reading, then go in the shower, and then come out of the shower, dry my hair, and do more reading, because this is how exciting my life is right now. I see everybody like on Instagram and stuff going like pubs and drinking and having fun, and I'm just like, I've got too much to do this little time, so not for me. Okay, so I think
think I'm about halfway now. We'll say that's halfway. And I'm just going to say, wow, like this book's getting better. Like I said before, it is truly reflecting of the context that it was wrote in. So it was talking about like women and like sex, and like how women back in those days had to stay pure away for the husband, but a man could have sex because then he could teach his wife how to have sex. So it's very male focused, and like going on about like the female sexuality is owned by a man. Wow, yeah. It's released my inner raging feminist, but this is like, it's not highlighting it as like, oh yeah, that's how it should be, because the main character Esther's questioning that. I like how she's like questioning it and like subverting things, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna now do a bit of like a workout, and then I'm gonna go in the shower and wash this hair mask out because it's now settling in very nicely. I do look like a greasy chip, but we love that. I'm going to make my lemon tea, like lemon and honey, and we're going to get reading, guys. We're going to start doing some reading, and then I'll chat to you about how I'm feeling about the book so far. Excited to get back into this book. Like, it's really good. Like, at the moment I'm only like kind of halfway through, but I feel like something's going to happen. I don't know what, but I feel it, but I don't know. All yous, if you've read it watching this, are probably like, let you know, but I don't know. Just with my hot water bottle now. I've read quite a few chapters there now. I'm feeling really sleepy, but I was right about like a bit of a twist and turn happening, like a change of scenery, a change of setting. But honestly, I'm mad at myself for not reading this sooner. I'm getting really into it. I've got about 80 pages left. I'm kind of glad I've read this now, because it took me a while to read Scenes of Graphic Nature, so the last book I read, just because I was in a bit of a slump. Sometimes that happens. Like, Scenes of Graphic Nature ended up being a really good book, but I just ended up like being in a bit of a slump, like being a bit demotivated with the reading. I don't know why. I think that's just because I felt pressure to read and put it on Bookstagram, but like focusing on reading books just for fun and getting my work done, and then eventually I'll be posting them onto Bookstagram, it's kind of been a bit better. But I'm really enjoying this so far. Again, like context reasons wise, like it really is telling of like the positioning of women at the time, roles in marriage, sex, relationships, religion. Race is kind of talked about as well. Like there is some like racist sayings, but it was wrote, as I said, it's when it mirrors the society it was wrote in. But again, like it just kind of makes you reflect on the treatment of, you know, people then and how people are being treated now, and you know, the lessons we still have to learn today. And I think that's very important. There's lots of things that are kind of like mirroring Sylvia Plath's life herself. There is a bit of talk about like suicide and mental health. Obviously, if you know, Sylvia Plath ended up committing suicide. So like, if that is something that does trigger you, I wouldn't necessarily read this book. There is like little context like slipping through, not to get too like Englishy and like analytical, but there is. But yeah. Also, my neighbour is really, really loud. It's a couple, so I do hear lots of things, but they just keep stomping about. I was like reading, and like they kept like stomping and stomping and stomping. It did sound like they were going to come through my ceiling. Sorry, I just yawned. But yeah, I'm going to put in some ASMR now and go to sleep, and it's going to be another early morning. I'm not going to like vlog me doing my work tomorrow because I'm a bit stressed, and we're just going to keep it primarily a reading vlog. So I hope that's okay with you guys. If not, then goodbye. Okay, so I've just had my lunch, and I actually ended up scrolling on Pinterest because I felt like scrolling on Pinterest.
But now I'm going to give myself an hour or so to get back into the bell jar. I left it at like quite a good point last night. Like as I said, like something is like started to happen, like there's been like a change in setting, and yeah, things are kind of like coming ahead. I've got exactly 80 pages left, so I don't know if I'll read half now and then read the rest tonight before bed, because reading helps me go to sleep. So I don't know, we'll see how far we get into it. If I get really into it, I might finish it right now, but yeah, let's start reading. So like this book is like heavily talking about like suicide and mental health and stuff, and I'm like really starting to see like where like other books that I have read recently have got like inspiration for it. Definitely my year of rest and relaxation definitely has like elements of things that like probably might have been inspired by the bell jar. I think I'm making assumptions, but there's some similarities. It is very, very interesting to see the perception of suicide and, you know, mental health in the 1950s, as long corresponding with like the role of women, the role of sex, like how I'm feeling. I've only got like 40 pages left now, but from the last 40 pages that I've just read, that is like what I am thinking and feeling about the book. I finished the book. Oh my god. I've just literally sat here, my bum has gone numb, and I've finished the book. I'm going to get back to you with my thoughts on it, like overall thoughts. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring back to you like how I feel about it. I'm just going to have while I'm cleaning my shower, I'm going to have a big long think about it overall. I will say now, it is a sensational book that does take your mind like on a journey. So yeah, but I do need to have a little think about how we're going to review and sum it up, and then I'll get back to you. So it's been a couple of days and I've had a chance to kind of think and gather my thoughts on The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So I thought now I'm going to give you this like a full review. I'm still going to write a review on my Instagram, but I just thought it'd be fun because like normally in reading vlogs I'm just like, yeah, that's good night, bye. But I just thought I would share my thoughts of it. I also want to apologise for how bad I was looking in the whole of this. All week I've been getting up early to do work, and honestly it's defeated me. But anyway, let's get into the review. So first of all, I would just like to say that this book is very captivating and it basically fulfills its purpose. I'm going to say like it fills what it's meant to do. And I believe the book is meant to make you feel like you are trapped in this bell jar with Esther Greenwood, and it's really meant to portray the impacts of mental health on people's lives and portray how societal factors are sometimes the main reason why mental health, you know, can go bad. Obviously this book is autobiographical, but obviously Sylvia Plath wrote this as like kind of like an insight into what was going on in her brain at the time, and that is very, very clear. Obviously, as I said, the trigger warnings for this are obviously suicide, death, and probably even assault if you think about it. Yeah, I'm going to give this book a rating of 4.75. I'm not giving it 5 stars purely because like there was some bits did take a while for me to click with or get, and obviously like with any book really, sometimes there's just non-captivating bits. But yeah, this book really does accurately depict mental health and struggling with mental health, and it's just so interesting to see it in the context 1950s to 60s America. It's just so interesting to see how mental health was treated back in those days, and like how, like, you know, asylums were perceived by the wider society. And it's also really interesting to see like the perception of women in the 1950s. That was probably one of the biggest things that interested me,
in this book, and the kind of like the role of women, the role of marriage, the role of sex, how like men's behavior, like there's lots of like juxtapositions. So there's a character called Buddy, and he was like Esther's kind of like, you know, childhood crush, and like, yeah. So without spoiling it, there's like a juxtaposition between his health and her health, and there's something that he says to her in the end, and if you read this, like, you might know, and it just made me get quite angry, like just how, you know, even today you can still see like similarities with how, one, people with mental health issues are treated, and two, how women are treated. And you know, if something pivotal happens in their life, you know, they're scarred, they're not as, you know, desirable, where if that happened to a man, oh, you know, we'll brush it off. And that is very apparent in this book. So yeah. Comparisons, obviously the book is based now marginally on Sylvia Plath's life, but if you've read A Streetcar Named Desire, the main character Esther reminds me so much of Blanche from A Streetcar Named Desire. Very, very similar. I don't know whether anybody else has felt like that while reading it. If you've read both, let me know if you've made any like comparisons, but that's the only comparison I could think of. On Bookstagram, I normally kind of talk about my favourite quotes from the book, and I'm going to bring that here as well. I just think that would be, you know, a good thing to do. And I have a lot of quotes, but I'm just going to give you the top 3. My favourite one was, if you expect nothing from somebody, you were never disappointed. And I just think that is quite, I'm one for giving people high expectations and then getting my heart broken by it. But yeah, that's a good one. This is a long one, so I'll put it on the screen as well. So, I saw my life branching out before me like a green fig tree in the story. From the tip of every branch, like a fat purple fig, a wonderful future beckoned and winked. One fig was her husband and her happy home and children, and another fig was a famous poet, and another fig was a brilliant professor, and another fig was E.G., the amazing editor, and another fig was Europe and Africa, South America, and another fig was Constantine and the Socrates, and Atia, and a pack of other lovers with queer names and offbeat professions, and another fig was an Olympic lady crew champion, and above and beyond these figs there were many more figs I couldn't quite make out. I saw myself sitting on the crotch of this fig tree, starving to death just because I couldn't make up my mind which of the figs I would choose. I wanted each and every one of them, but choosing one meant losing all the rest, and I sat there unable to decide. The figs began to wrinkle and go black, and one by one they plopped onto the ground at my feet. So like, this to me really stood out as a quote, because it's kind of like, as a woman you have potential, but then there's that branch of life that you're meant to take, and if you take that, then you're going to miss out on everything else. So yeah, for me that really stood out, that quote, because the imagery and the metaphors, just, it does suck you in, and it's a brilliant way describing what women have to go through, and how they, you know, have to just ultimately sacrifice everything. A woman always has to sacrifice, where men don't tend to have to sacrifice. I'm going to get loads of angry men being like, no we don't, da da da, but you don't know, do you? You don't know. Okay, so the final, this one made me laugh, and I think most girls in the girls' bathroom on a night out can understand this one. There is nothing like puking with somebody to make you into old friends. That one was probably the most joyous one out of the quotes. I thought we'll leave on a nice bright one, but yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it? It's like a bonding session between females in a girls' bathroom, which we love and we miss due to pandemic times. So I've, you know, made many friends in girls' bathrooms with girls like not feeling very well, crying over a boy, etc. So to bring this lovely review of The Bell Jar to a close, I said I'm going to give it 4.75 stars. It is extremely captivating, really does suck you in and gives you kind of the insight into how women in the 1950s treated mental health and how that makes you feel. And yeah,
I just think that is just, it just was incredibly written, and it was just so clever. Like the fig tree quote, I think really shows like how clever Sylvia Plath's writing is, and I highly recommend this book. It's become one of my favourites that I have read this year, and yeah, it's become one of my favourite classics, I think. And yeah, as I said, like I'm still on the hunt for my new favourite book, because I think this might be in the race for it. I can see why people really, really love it, and I would reread this book again and again. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this relatively chilled reading vlog. I've had a really hectic week. I don't know if you could tell by me at the beginning, but I was extremely tired. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love you all lots, and if you could like, subscribe to my channel and comment, because that really does help encourage me, and it helps get my videos seen as well. I put a lot of effort into them, so thank you. I'm just getting my little violin out, but thank you very much, and I should hopefully see you guys next week, and goodbye.